Yo, what's up, guys, and welcome back to our Canucks GM mode. So, last episode we did the remainder of the offseason, which was maybe we started the season simulation. I don't even remember, but anyways, we did a couple bits of simulation in the season. As you can see, our record at the trade deadline is 34-21-7, which is second best in the Pacific Division, only behind the Arizona Coyotes. So I was debating making a trade at the trade deadline, but I don't think I'm going to. Reason being, as you could see at the end of my last video, if you guys watched it, that Mikael Albeline, our low elite center who we drafted way back in year number 3 or 4, whatever it is, 2020. We drafted Mikael Albeline 3rd overall, and he's grown all the way to an 83. He's only 20 years of age, and he's definitely ready to play in the NHL. Based on his role, he could play on our third line, and I would like to actually have him in the NHL currently this season. However, I think just because he's been playing really good down there, I'd rather just leave him till the end of the year. He still has his minor league deal for 2 more years after this anyways, so but as you can see down in the minors, currently he has put up 50 points in 56 games, so I think I'm just going to leave him down there for the remainder of the season, even though his overall is pretty nice. I was debating instead calling him up and then trading away Cole Castles, because they do have the same overall, but Cole Castles is a bit more of a defensive player, while Albeline's more of an offensive player. So I think I'm just going to leave Albeline, and that way he's like an 85, maybe 86 by next season, and then he can maybe be our second line center by then already. And Cole Castles will probably be trading at the NHL draft this year or during the off season, just because he has 2 years left on his deal. But I need to have more roster space for Albeline, and then also Samuel Bitton might be jumping to the NHL next season as well, because he's an 81, so he might be an 83 by then. So we have to probably get rid of Cole Castles. So we could probably just flip him for maybe a draft pick at the draft, or we could maybe trade him for a prospect or something if we want to, but it's up to you guys. If you guys want to comment what you think we should do with that, let me know. Also, we might have to trade one of our left wingers away eventually during the off season as well, because McEachern will be jumping into the NHL. I think though I might want to move Anthony Mantha, or let go of Anthony Mantha, even though he's a pretty good goal scorer for us. It's just we need more roster spots. So, but yeah, that's basically what I was going to make a trade with during the season, but I don't think we need to. So we're gonna sim the remainder of the season in this video. We're gonna see who we're up against in round number 1, because we're more than likely gonna make the playoffs, and then I think that might be it. This episode will probably be a bit of a short episode just because I'm not making any trades, but I think pretty much we should be a good enough team just to simulate as is into the playoffs. So hopefully we could get to the Stanley Cup Finals this year and maybe win our first Stanley Cup, because we do have a lot of players that contracts end in the next 1 to 2 years. A lot of players end this year. I think it was 7 players end this year. And then pretty much everybody else on a roster ends next season. So there's a lot of players we might have to move during the offseason, like Vasilevsky or Demko has to go, just so Alexis Gravel could jump to the NHL. So there's a lot of things you guys could comment down below. Do you think we should keep Demko, or do you think we should keep Vasilevsky? Which one of the two would you rather me keep? Or do we even trade Alexis Gravel away? Maybe we don't need the prospect anymore, but I'd rather keep Gravel, I think, just because I think his trade value was better than Demko's. So, but we'll see with that sort of stuff. So let me know with that. And we've got an injury. So Christoph Berge, who is our 4th liner, he's got a wrist sprain, and he'll be available on March the 22nd. So that's not too long term. That's a couple weeks, but at least we have a bit of depth in our NHL team. I think we had Boucher, right? I've been forgetting a bit with GM mode stuff because I've been playing Franchise Hockey Manager on Steam. If you guys know that game, it's a lot more in depth than this game, and it's a lot more fun, kind of. So I've been kind of forgetting who we have on our team. Oh yeah, and Thatcher Demko was injured at the end of last video, I think. He is back, so Alexis Gravel has to go back down to the minors, but that is fine. How did he even play up here? So he played 2 games. He's 0-1, 435. Not a very good start to his career again, but he'll be better for next season, so that's good. So we'll send him back down, and we'll put Demko back in the lineup. Hopefully Demko doesn't get re-injured, because it seems like goalies like to get re-injured a lot. At least we had that trouble, I think, with Vasilevsky in previous seasons, if I remember correctly. So we'll go to goalies, and Gravel goes down. At least he doesn't go through waivers, because he's still really young. And then we'll go back to the AHL just to put him in, because I don't want Shores in that, and then Gravel doesn't get ice time or something. So there we go. And that should be good. So let's just continue with the simulation. Hopefully we do decent this season. It doesn't really matter about our season record, kind of, because I find if you have a very good regular season in this game, like you win the President's Trophy, you have no chance to win a cup. Like, no matter how good your season record is, like if you won 60 games, you're going to get swept in the first round or something like that. So we kind of want to have like a kind of a okay season, not the best, but not the worst either. Like just around the best to make the playoffs. So kind of like we want to fit maybe around 5th or 6th in the Western Conference, and then maybe we should go far this year. So currently our record is looking okay, still 38, 24, and 8. So basically 38 and 32. And Christoph Bergey's been re-injured again. I just replaced him, I guess. But it's going to be nice next season having some good youngsters in the NHL. Like Elbeling, like I said, Bitten's going to be in NHL, Gravel's going to be in NHL. So we're going to have a good group of prospects. And if we win the cup this year, these youngsters are going to probably like playing with players who won the Stanley Cup, and maybe it'll help them grow a bit. So Christoph Bergey is back. Good news. Hopefully he doesn't get re-injured again. How's Reed Boucher been playing as a depth player? He's got 1 goal in 5 games. Not bad, but he's a -2. I don't really like that he's a minus player, but whatever. Because we don't actually have a lot of minus players on this team. And then after this as well, the season simulation, we'll just check our player stats, obviously team stats. That's sort of idea, kind of get it primed up for next episode. But so we've lost a lot of games in this month, which is kind of good because, like I said, we don't want to have the greatest season. Like, we want to make the playoffs, but we don't want to have the greatest season, so we don't get exited out in the first round. Okay, now we are in April, and our record is 39, 28, and 10, so we did lose a lot of games, actually, during that span. Hopefully we're still in the playoff hunt. Yes, we are still in the playoff hunt. We have a 6-point lead over Anaheim, who's in the last spot. Looks like Arizona's pretty much like sealed the deal on our division, as they're 8 points above us, and we only have like 5 games left, I think. So let's just get a win and clinch a playoff spot. That's all I want, because I don't really care on our season record as long as we make it. And we win 4-3. Nice. There you go. So we should have clinched a playoff spot. Yep. More than likely we just clinched. Yep, there it is. Qualified for the playoffs. So that's 3 or 4 straight seasons where we've made the playoffs now. And we're now actually on a 3-game winning streak. So let's just get it right to the end of the season. Our AHL team is doing well as well. Even though that just sounded weird, but I just said. So hopefully Albeling could win a Calder Cup down there, and then maybe next season he helps contribute to a Stanley Cup for us. That'd be nice. So our final record this season is 42, 29, and 11. Yeah, the Arizona Coyotes take first in the Pacific. So let's just take a look at the player stats and team stats. I guess we'll start with team stats just so we could show what our power play's been like and stuff like that. So, because I completely forget even what our power play did for us in like last video. So goals for per game on average, we were, let's see, where are we? Are we even up there? Wow, we weren't actually a good goal scoring team this year. We were like way close to the bottom. That's kind of weird. Well, kind of middle, but still, that's not a good spot to be in. But we had a pretty good, looks like, goals against. I think, maybe not. Oh yeah, we did have one. So our goals against was really good. So we were just a very good defensive team this year, 5th in the NHL in goals against. And then we'll tied for 4th actually. A lot of teams had 2.63 goals against average. Our power play was one of the best, I think, as well. Well, maybe not. Looks like just above 10th. I can't even tell because it doesn't say your actual placing. Let's see. Penalty kill doesn't look that good at all. Yeah, our penalty kill was one of the worst. So I guess we were just a very good 5-on-5 team. We weren't good with special teams and that sort of thing. Our home record was 22-13-6, so basically 22-19. And then on the road, we were basically 20-21. So we're not a good road team, but we're a better home team this season. And our last 10, 3-5-2, which is obviously really horrible. Okay, let's take a look at player stats for the season. Who did what? We'll start off with the forwards, as we always do. So, leader in goals this season for us was Bo Horvat with 23 goals. Vrana right behind him with 22. Mantha and Kane had 21. Nolan Patrick 17. He doesn't seem to put up a lot of goals, but he puts up a decent amount of assists, so he's turning more of a playmaker for us, which is decent enough. Kevin Fiala 15. Virtanen only 13. Wow. He missed a lot of games too, but 13 goals, that's a big drop off, I think, from last year. Yeah, he dropped from 24 to 13 goals, so maybe Jake Virtanen becomes available down the road. Zach Sanford 10, Tippett 7, Wyman 7, Birchie 5, Castles 5, Stevenson 1, and Boucher 1, which are our depth guys. Leader in assists was Horvat as well, followed by Fiala, Patrick, blah, blah, blah. Leader in points is Bo Horvat, Nolan Patrick. Fiala had 51, Kane had 48, Virtanen 39, Vrana 39. Chris Wyman had 33, which is 2 points better than his career best, but he did not have a career. He doesn't seem to score a lot of goals, but he puts up a decent amount of assists too. So he's more of a playmaker, which is fine. I guess, well, we've used him as a center, which he's not really actually a center, so maybe he just plays better when he's in between two players. I don't know. Anthony Mantha 29, Cole Castles 24, Sanford 23, Tippett 19. He should be like an 85 maybe by next season. Christoph Birchie 17 points on the 4th line. Stevenson 6 points and Boucher 1 point. Now to our defensive core. Yossi led with 53 points, so definitely a very good signing. Plus 16. Then Troy Stetcher, wow, 41 points, but he was a minus 19. Like, I don't know who it is. I think it might be Shea Theodore that might be wrong with our team, because just for some reason, these two, or whatever line Shea Theodore is on, gets minus. Like, Shea Theodore is a minus 6, Bruiseball is a minus 4, and Stetcher minus 19. Like, our defense seems to be really bad plus minus. I didn't actually check the plus minus for the forwards either, but plus 2 for Lilsgren and a plus 16 for Yossi, but everybody else just not very good. Well, Yolivi's actually was a plus 19, so just everybody that wasn't on the top defensive line. Goaltending, Thatcher Demko played 48 games, 2.71, 24, 16, and 4, 9-10 save percentage. Did he have any goals this year? Nope. Not like his rookie season. Vasilevsky had 40 games played, 2.19. So, see, Vasilevsky seems to simulate better, but he doesn't get as much wins, which is kind of weird. Vasilevsky went 18, 12, and 6, and a 9.22 save percentage. And he put up 5 shutouts, while Demko put up 4. Okay, and let's quickly just go back to forwards. I just want to check the plus minus on the forwards, because I wonder who's causing all this minus players. Because, like, we had a lot of plus players. Like, Vrana's a minus 11. Nolan Patrick's a minus 10. Like, it could be just that second line. Maybe it's because Nolan Patrick's in the center position. Because, look at his faceoffs. It's still a 68. So maybe he's just losing a lot of defensive zone faceoffs or something like that. And that's costing us. So maybe we use him as a winger next year. And use Albeline as, like, the center. So then Albeline and Patrick could play together or something like that. So I think that's probably what we'll do next season, because I think it might be his face-offs that have been the problem, because he's a -10. People he plays with is minus, so it could be because of that. But anyways, that's the NHL points. Let's take a look at the AHL points quickly. No, I don't want to lead penalty minutes. Points so far: Rudolph Balser 64, Albeling 64, very nice, 25 goals. Rodin, I don't care about really. Alvin's 44, nice. I don't think this guy's gonna play on our NHL team. He seems to be capping off at a 77, so at least he'll be an AHL top 6 forward, I guess. Backer, this guy doesn't seem to be growing really much either. Like, he's a 75 overall. He's 21. Still got the top 6 potential, but I don't know if he's going to jump into the NHL, like, by the time he's 24 or what. Bitten's got 37 points, so he doesn't put up a lot of points either, or a lot of goals, but he puts up some assists, which is nice. Schneider, 36 points. This guy actually might be an NHL player eventually. He's also 21, though. And that's forwards. Defensively, Yana Coyne might jump to the NHL potentially next season if he grows a bit. Neil, Tuola, just a bunch of older guys, I think, mostly. Goalies, Alexis Gravel played obviously great. 2.53, 26, 15, and 1. And 915 save percentage, 3 shutouts, and 1 assist. And then Haljenko played nice in backup. 31 games played, 1.96, 18, 10, and 0. And a 928 save percentage. And 6 shutouts, actually. Wow. But the AHL season isn't fully complete yet, but that's basically what their stats look like so far. So pretty good all around. Let's see who we're up against in round number 1. I just need to get a quick drink of water, guys. I'll be back in a quick sec. Okay, that's better. It's a lot of hot weather recently, and then rain too, so my throat seems to dry up a lot quicker when I do commentaries. So anyways, who are we going to be playing in the first round of the playoffs this year? And it's going to be the Calgary Flames, who we've played twice, I think, in the last 2 years, 3 years. I don't even remember, to be honest. But here's a look at the playoff tree. So you got Arizona and Colorado, us in Calgary, Dallas and the Winnipeg Jets, St. Louis Blues and the Nashville Predators, Tampa Bay and Rangers, Toronto and Detroit, so an original 6 matchup, Boston and the Islanders, and Pittsburgh and Washington. So Crosby and Ovi might be in one of their last seasons if they didn't retire. I don't remember. So that's a big battle for them. But we're up against the Flames. So let's sim up to that day and take a look at what the Flames lines look like. And that will be it for this episode. Well, maybe we'll look at the progress reports too, just because you guys might want to see how our players are growing. So let's take a look at the Flames lines. They're probably very similar to what they've been in the past seasons, which is their first line, I think, had like Monahan, Goudreau, and Patrick Hornquist. But I don't know who else is on their team, like if they picked up anybody recently. So, yeah, the first line's still together. Johnny Goudreau, Sean Monahan, Patrick Hornquist. Hornquist is probably in his last season. Then you got Tkachuk, who's definitely going to take over Hornquist's spot on the first line eventually. You also got Sam Bennett and Hunter Shinkaruk. Michael Furlan, Michael Backlund, and Emile Poirier, who's an 86. Wow, he grew pretty good. Hunter Smith, Michael Spacek, and Josh Bailey. So I think this team's almost identical to what they were last year, at least in the forward sense. Defensively, they have TJ Brody and Dougie Hamilton, which is a very nice top 2 defensive pairing. Both offensive defensemen, though, so if they get caught out of position, we might be able to score on them. And then they also have Rasmus Anderson, who's another offensive defenseman. So this team is very offensive, so if we could shut them down, we had a very good defensive stat during the regular season, we should be able to win the series. So Yoki Paka, only an 81, so very weak defenseman there. And same with these two, Nick Holden and Klaus Delbeck. So a lot of these guys are all veterans on the defensive course, so you never know. These guys might be slowing down too. So goalies, John Giles is the starter, and Tim Holtstrand is their backup. So if John Giles gets injured, they have to deal with using their 75 overall goalie, who I guess they got in free agency or something for the AHL and end up using him in the NHL. Scratch players, they have Andrew Mangiapane, who's their best player, and then they also have Simon Stransky, who's got decent potential, and Frolik, who's probably just dropping off and probably pissed off because of his ice time. So that is a look at the Calgary Flames and who we're up against in round number 1. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Canucks GM mode. So like I said, next episode is going to be when we play the Calgary Flames. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Wait, oh yeah, shit, I was going to actually show you guys quickly the progress reports. Sorry about that. I always get carried away with stuff like that. Let's just take a look at who grew. So Breezeball and Tippett in the NHL, and then down in the minors, Abilene obviously. Sparks is growing nicely, that sort of thing. I'll just go through it like this. You guys could pause it if you want to see stuff. Gravel's an 81 now. That's nice. And yeah, that's that. So as I was saying, anyways, next episode will be when we play the Calgary Flames. So round 1, hopefully we could get past these Flames again. They finished 43, 35, and 4 during the regular season, so just a bit better than us, I think, or maybe around the same as us. So anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.